You grab a coffee and let's chat about what I'm planning on doing for September. So, over the past few years, I've watched many people doing shelf timber. Okay, so there's a shelf timber challenge. It's basically cooking from stuff from your shelf. Um, this past summer, we were on vacation and I cleaned up my fridge, and I just recently just bought some fresh food for the fridge. But so by cleaning it out, I went through everything that was in there. Anything that was really old, I got rid of. But I still have a whole bunch of like half condiments and stuff, so I want to use those up. But my freezer is still packed. I have been doing some freezer meals, filling them up. So I've made space in my freezer, put freezer meals in there. But I need to do more. I need to use stuff. So shelf timber, I got this idea from Jordan Page a few years ago. I've been following her for years, love her ideas and stuff like that. And I've been doing shelf cooking on and off. That's I usually do for my low spend months and stuff like that. But this is more of a challenge of, when you buy something for a specific recipe, maybe you're trying a new recipe on your menu plan, and you buy something that you don't normally buy, or a new ingredient, or a new can of something, or a new frozen product, or new type of meat, or something like that. But then by the day that comes to do that recipe, you don't do it for whatever reason, whether you ran out of time, maybe an ingredient that was supposed to be for that recipe got used up by somebody else accidentally, or whatever, and then you forget about it. So now there's these jars, cans, boxes of whatever's in your pantry that you had a purpose for. You bought it, but now you haven't used it. So the goal is to um, use these things up specifically, as well as clear out things in your freezer and your pantry and not have to go shopping hardly at all, except for fresh food. So my goal is to just purchase fresh fruit, veggies, meat, dairy, and any snacks. Like if my husband runs out of his snacks and stuff, since he is the breadwinner in the family, I have to go and pick up some of those on grocery day. But I'm not going to make a special trip. But I'm going to make sure that I have popcorn in the house, so that should cover any snacky stuff that we might need in a pinch. But I'm planning on using up all these things, so that it's just getting too much. It's just getting too overcrowded. The stuff that's supposed to be in my pantry, in my kitchen, I have a spot in the basement for the overflow of things that we use. Things over the past year are my family's dietary needs have changed. Um, and some things that we ate a lot of a year ago, we haven't been eating. So now we just eat what we like, and those things have changed. Um, so, what was it? So there's some things that I just want to have to use up. So we don't eat pasta as much as we used to, and I have a overflow of extra pasta. I have an overflow of some breakfast cereals. We used to eat breakfast cereals often, well, at least a couple times a week. But lately, we haven't had breakfast cereals. People haven't, maybe once every 2 weeks. So these things are taking up valuable space. If I don't need, I want to use up. My goal is to use up all the cereal this month that I have in my kitchen, not to buy any more cereal. I have instant oatmeals, the flavor that my family likes. We will be using those over the wintertime. We don't tend to eat oatmeal during the summer, but my goal is to eat those cereals and then have 1 or 2 boxes, that's it, in the pantry. Because right now I just looked there. I have 4 open containers in, like, the Tupperware type containers and, um, and 3 boxes that have not been opened yet, 3 or 4. So, that needs to be changed because no one and it's not even of the same brand, like, so somebody in my family or like maybe it was on sale, I picked it up, I don't know. Um, I'm gonna be reusing those and making cereal bars, or grinding them up to make, like, a crust to some sort of snack, um, because it's just not it's just not, being used, and it's just sitting there, and it's annoying me. So, I don't want that to happen anymore. There's a few jars of sauces that I either got for Christmas or my birthday, because at Christmas time, my stocking, I tend to get a lot of different cooking sauces. My goal is to use those up. Because Christmas is coming again, I might get some more. And if I like any of those sauces, I'll write them down and I will get them myself. But it's always a way for me to try new things. Um, oops, my phone. And another thing I wanna use stuff in my freezer. So, I have a 6-foot freezer, a deep freeze, and it's been a while. I think I cleaned it out just before Christmas last year, where I emptied it all out and then I put the stuff back in. But there's stuff that I'm sure that's at the bottom that needs to be eaten. So what I'm gonna be doing purposely in September is to taking the stuff off the top, because that's the freshest stuff, of course, and going deep into there and grabbing stuff to use. I'm going to plan on making soups and stews and stuff, maybe even making some meals for the freezer because I find if I have prepared items in my freezer for those days when we are stuck at CHEO or which is the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, we have a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff. And by the time I get home, it's usually during rush hour and I want to have something to be put on the table. So I don't have time to actually cook a meal. So I either have stuff ready to dump in my instant pot or throw into the oven like a lasagna or something like that. My family's I'm like the only family that my that doesn't like lasagna. Like I love lasagna, but my rest of my family, it's like eh. So if I make a lasagna, it's because they actually want one, but they are not a lasagna family, because I would love to make a bunch of lasagnas for the freezer because that's an easy freezer meal. It freezes great and it reheats easily. But my family is not really big on that, and same with baked pastas from the freezer. They're like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So our freezer meals tend to be more Asian inspired or Indian inspired, um, which might not be typical North American fare, but or like sausage and peppers and stuff like that. That tends to be a big freezer meal that my family likes. Um, but my goal is to go through my freezer and eat the stuff. That little bit of this, a little bit of that. I have a whole bunch of little soups that I have frozen in the past in individual like sour cream containers or whatever, about 2 cups worth. I'm going to plan on using them for lunches for myself, for my family, maybe using them as a base for a sauce, just to use up stuff, so that my freezers will be more planned with items that we can easily grab from, and actually be able to put stuff in there like Christmas is coming. My family does like some Christmas desserts and cookies and stuff like that, but we don't eat them all just at Christmas, right? So I would like to make also room so that I can bake some of our Christmas desserts and put them in containers and freeze them. So I could take a little bit out at a time. Because if I take them all out, then we all go and eat them all, and then we are like, "Oh, we're sick and tired of them," and nobody eats them for ages and ages. So, we will be doing that. Also, something different starting for September that I'm doing is my oldest daughter's going to college, right? Well, on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, she has a very easy day. She's only at school for like a couple of hours. So, one day a week, she is going to be in charge of making supper. It'll be up to her with what we have available. If there's some things that she might need, she's going to be looking at what's available that isn't the fresh ingredients. I might be able to pick those things up, but that is something she's very good at figuring out. And a few of our meals are going to be smorgasbord type meals because um like times when we do like appetizer meal, where we do a whole bunch of different appetizer type things or little bites of things. And which don't really make a lot of sense. Like you might have chicken wings and you might have um mozzarella sticks, and then you might have samosas, or sometimes we've have samosas and spring rolls and um cheese sticks or something like, um and then we'll have a salad, or fresh tomatoes, cucumbers, you know. That's a favorite little side dish of my family. Um hey, you food, how's it going? So that is going to be the plan for September, is doing shelf cooking. So shelf cooking is shopping your shelves, eating from your shelves, shopping your fridge, shopping your freezer, using the stuff up, especially those little bits and bobbles of things. Like I have a bunch of nuts that I bought maybe last Christmas or early spring. I had planned to make certain desserts with, or nut milks or whatever. I'm going to actually purposely use them this month. Um, trying to eat healthier, trying to eat more fruits and veggies, a little bit less carbs. Same thing. We're going to be eating up some of the pasta that I bought because we have a lot of it. And we haven't been eating a lot of pasta lately. We've been more actually been eating lots of rice lately, rice and some potatoes. So, and we've been eating a lot of Asian inspired food, a lot of Indian foods, Mediterranean style food, just because we like those flavors. So, hey, if my family will eat it, if I can get 2 to 3 of the 4 people in my family to like it, I consider it a win. If it's a 3 out of 4, it's great. It's very, very rare that I can get 4 out of 4 people in my family to absolutely love it. They'll eat it. It might not be their favorite, but I have about 4 dishes that are my family favorites that they all like, but I can't have make them too often because then they get bored. So, if anybody wants to join me on this adventure of shelf cooking for shelf timber, comment below and give me inspiration of what you're doing. Like for example, today I'm using up what I have in my house, right? So today I'm making for lunch um, loaded baked potato soup because we have a bunch of potatoes that I've had for a while. Like I I bought them before I went vacation. They're still perfectly good. They're not sprouted or anything, but I need to use them up. I did not buy potatoes this week when I did the store, and I'm going to make loaded potato soup. It also freezes well too. And sometimes when you reheat it, you might have to add some milk or cream to it, but it's a great meal to have. Great for this week of school starting. And then tonight for supper, I'm going to my in-laws, so we don't have to make supper. But we're having soup. We're going to have any leftovers if anybody doesn't want a lot of soup. I think I'll make baking powder biscuits because I've got baking powder. I've got flour. I've got flour up the yin yang. You and some carrots and artichokes. Oh, yummy! Artichokes, fresh ones or from a jar? Well, I have also a bunch of tomatoes. So this week I'm going to be making a bunch of tomato recipes. I know for a side dish one day I'm going to make my baked tomatoes, which my family loves. Basically, cutting tomatoes in half and sprinkling them with Italian seasoning and a bit of Parmesan and some cheese, salt, pepper, and baking them. It's a great side dish. Hey, puppy's breath. Hey, Rosie, how's it going? Sorry, my throat is a bit scratchy. I've After vacation, I got home, and then I got this summer cold, um, sinus infection thing. So it's made me have cough, and but the sinus part is pretty much gone. That's right up here. But my allergies and I'm still tearing. So, but yeah, doing shelf timber, going to cook from my pantry, from my freezer. I'm going to bring you along. Hopefully, I'm hoping that every day this week I'll do at least a short little live stream to bring you along and show you something that has changed, or show you either what I'm kind of cooking that at that moment, or showing you how my freezer is, or something like that. I'm having some uh, start trying a new program on my computer here, um, in the NCH soft. Oh, what was it called? Shoot. Uh, Trying to see what it's called. There we go. Video Pad Professional. So I just did my doing my June 20th grocery haul up there. It's starting to upload right now. Gonna see how that worked. Because remember I had computer problems and then stuff. So we'll see how this is making sushi. Oh yes, love. So I had sushi on the menu for yesterday, but my oldest is the person who makes sushi. She wasn't feeling great, so instead, my husband, since it was the last day of August, he wanted, and we were all kind of getting sick. We wanted hot and sour soup, and we wanted a really nice spicy one. So we ordered Chinese food last night. So we had hot and sour soup and egg rolls and some veggies. So we have some leftovers of that. So the sushi that I had on the menu planned for yesterday is going to be again transferred for this week because I didn't take out the frozen fish. So that menu plan should be up. Is it up already? I don't know. I know I recorded it and I put it up. I don't know if I edited it yet. Put Made it active. That might be going up tomorrow. Of what I had planned for last week. A lot of Asian inspired meals and some stuff that I put in the freezer. Fresh organic cooked in broth, very yummy. Oh, yum. Rice, dory, veggies plus tuna, etc. and cabbage. That makes hope. Yes. Well, have you been using? Were you using canned tuna or fresh tuna, like raw tuna? Um, I had hoped I have in my freezer. I don't have any like raw tuna. I have some salmon, raw salmon. I also have smoked salmon, which I could use in sushi, but I have some in my freezer now of the Vietnamese pork that I had made. Um, some for the pad thai, I put in pad thai. Some for a Vietnamese noodle dish, which we haven't made yet. That's also in the freezer, and then another container of it specifically for sushi, because my oldest doesn't do seafood. So we tend to do pork or chicken or beef ones for her, or veggie ones, and then we do salmon and California rolls. Oh, yum! I've eaten smoked salmon for breakfast, but not specifically with scrambled eggs. I like smoked salmon and capers, or smoked salmon cream cheese on a bagel. I have wasabi to use when I make sushi. Yes, that's one thing. I have a bottle of wasabi. I guess like a mayo or so. So it's not quite the strongest paste, but it's really good. We just put some in the soya sauce. My oldest doesn't do wasabi, and my youngest, when she eats sushi, doesn't do soya sauce or wasabi. Oh, nice. I think I would like that because when we were on vacation, um, that was one thing that was available at the buffet, or that was smoked salmon for breakfast. It was one of the few things that was actually good for breakfast. Um, so I'm hoping. So I hope if anybody wants to join me on the shelf timber cooking from your shelf cooking, please comment and join me and share what you're going to do. I'm hoping to share with you almost every day. I'm aiming for every day, but realistically, that might not happen. Of either something that I'm cooking up, or my freezer, my pantry, or what things I've taken out. Like, my goal is to find the things that are at the back of the cupboard, at the top shelf, whatever, those things that I know if it's not in my sight, I realize I have it. So I'm going to take those things out, and like tomorrow, I'll do that. I'll take those things, a few of those things out, and put in a basket. Okay, and then look at those things and try and make some meals with using those things that week, so that I can get through some of these things. Also, my freezer, I have to dig down deep to get the stuff that has been there for a while. Now, one thing with my freezer, which I'm lucky, I don't know why, I don't usually get a lot of, like, freezer burn on it. Now, some stuff I put in the freezer, I use my vacuum sealer, so there's never ever freezer burn on it. But just the way that it's packed, it doesn't usually get freezer burnt. The only times that I get freezer burnt are usually on sausages, like Italian sausages. Like, I don't get on beef or pork or steak or chicken, but on sausages for some reason. That's usually because I just throw the sausages in the freezer in the package that they come in. So, called a Leo scramble in delis. Lox, eggs. Oh, never heard of it. Uh-huh. Like, you're playing on show Chop. Yes, we've been what speaking of Chopped, as a family, we watch a lot of cooking shows because it's one of those few things that are family friendly. And we've been watching Chopped, usually during just after supper time or just before supper, and seeing these ingredients of what to do with them, and getting inspired by those things of going, oh, I haven't had this in a while. Like, whatever they make, they're using some weird ingredients. We're going to try and do this kind of same thing. But yeah, I like the idea of doing it like Chopped. But because this is the thing, is when I cleaned up my fridge, when I went on vacation, I cleaned up my fridge of the things that would go bad. As I noticed in my fridge, I had a whole bunch of um, jars that are half open, like, of condiments, right? Like, a barbecue sauce, different barbecue sauces for different things, different jams, different, half sauces, like in butter chicken or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I need to use these things up because they're taking up like almost a whole shelf of my fridge, not including pickles, which also take up like almost a whole shelf. Because I have my naturally fermented kosher pickles, which are in big jars at the back of my fridge. There's still, I think, 4 jars of those full there, plus other jars, because not only ones that like the kosher pickles these days are Abby and I. My family will eat them, especially if I chop them up into different things like salads and stuff. But lately, my family, as I said, we haven't been eating a lot of pasta. And usually in the summertime, my family will eat pasta salad. But nobody's been wanting hot pasta salad. So I haven't been making it. Or when I do make it, it lasts for like ever. So some things that we were eating a lot before, we're just not in the mood for. So our tastes have changed, our palates have changed. Um, Eating certain things healthier, certain things maybe quicker because of just the time wise. Sure. Oh, well, see, I could totally rock that show if there was no time limit. It's the time that's the problem with me. Time gets away with me. and that's why, like, for normally I start my supper plans. If I'm at home, I start my supper plans around noon or 2 o'clock the latest, because I know well, certain things take a long time, like chopping up vegetables and stuff, or for example, if something has like shrimp, well, the shrimp are frozen, so then I have to defrost them, and then once they're defrosted, I have to shell them, right? So that takes some pre-thought, pre-planning versus just doing it. And I find even when I'm following a recipe, especially if I'm trying something new, I usually try to follow a recipe or get inspired. Um, there's always something that I forget to look at. Like when I made my Vietnamese pork, I was doing it up and then it said to marinate for 24 hours. I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I just threw it in my instant pot as is and shredded it, and then it was beautiful, you know. But I mean, it probably would have had more flavor if the night before I marinated it. So, yeah, just a second. I'm doing a live stream. Jeff says hi. I was just talking about shelf cooking for September. Jeff said, "Why am I cooking the shelves? I'm cooking the stuff on the shelves." And Rosie said it's sounding like I'm going to play Chopped, and she said I would just totally rock that show, but I said it's the time constraint that would kill me, and presentation. My food does not always look pretty. It might look pretty. Oh, Rosie says hi, Jeff. It might look pretty in the casserole if it's a one pot dish, especially if I cover it with cheese. What? Yeah, but Jeff goes, nobody eats casseroles. Well, I call casserole a one pot dish. Jeff has in his head whenever I say casserole, it's some sort of creamy, meaty, pasta-y, goopy stuff, which he doesn't like, with breading on top, which he won't eat, right? I say casseroles as any type of one pot dish, which could be just baked spaghetti, which is not a casserole, it's just baked spaghetti. He eats baked spaghetti. Shelves have high fiber, all the wood and particle board. Yep. I will be right back because Jeff wants some more coffee, and my coffee is low too. So I will be right back. Yes, we haven't had baked spaghetti. Oh my goodness, I think since like Christmas. As I was just saying to Jeff, we haven't had pasta for a long time, and he's like, oh, he doesn't like spaghetti sauce anymore. Or not. Yes, so as I said, our tastes have changed. Refined. They have refined. Okay. Say hi. It's your face. Because you're in your PJs. Oh, Peter's come to say hi.
Some days.
Okay, show your mug. We got this is world
Very.
Okay. Get your coffee.
Yeah, me.
Peter's trying to trip me.
Like you're going into the kitchen. I'm following her. Through that. I know what she does in there. She food and opens cans and
Maybe drop food on the floor for me. I'm just being you on top of the coffee maker. Coffee.
Most important place in the house.
Oh, where's no, I need no. I need to get my coffee. In my cup.
Ooh, someone new.
No, because this is still in the room eating.
Hey, Abby, did you just close your door? You made him sad. He ran out to go see you. Yeah, go open the door. Peter doesn't like closed doors. Peter doesn't like closed doors.
Isn't here for the Jeff cameo appearance? Yes. Well, maybe if he agrees, he could talk about our vacation at some point. We'll do a video. He wrote up a TripAdvisor review of our vacation. First 6 days of like HE double hockey sticks. I'm like, it'll be funny. Yes. Then we changed hotels. And then it was better. There you go.
You know the guy who ran the man?
Yeah.
Their company
Yes.
called me back.
Okay. Okay. Come here. Grab a cup.
I'm like, shocked. Anyway, dude's gonna set that he's gonna watch for deals.
Mhm.
Within my price range. He thinks my price is stupid low.
Yes.
For a cruise, just so you know.
Yes.
Like that's all I got. Stupid low.
Yes. We were thinking about possibly next time we go on vacation do a cruise because um our because both are fun. Yes.
Both.
Yes, boats are.
Yeah.
But also we did not really. Yeah, we did not have a vacation.
We spent
Yeah, crazy, eh? So, bye. Love you.
you
Mm.
oh yeah.
What you
You've got the camera going.
there? Lost out. I could put that's my laptop. I have it on the laptop.
Okay. Oh,
I'm carrying the laptop. That's why I only had one hand
that makes
because my phone wasn't working. Wasn't liking it.
wow.
Yes, I'm happy Jeff got me a new laptop. It has a little camera that works. There we go. Back.
He's even gonna like hold patterns for us.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Cool.
ones where they include
Oh yeah. What disability? Okay. Well, that's cool. Always good to support
yeah,
people with disabilities.
doing all
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Hell no. It's just 7:45 here. Good to see you. Have to get to the store before the crowds. Why would this crowds be at 7:43 in the morning? They don't seem to happen here until at least 11. What music are you listening to downstairs, Jeff? Jeff, what are you listening to downstairs? Jeff's listening to Sophie Needs a Ladder by Dead Mouse 5. Yeah, here the stores don't get to all. Yeah, and what's the other way to pronounce it? But you said something else. Okay. 9 a.m. get busy. Lots of folks. Oh, see
It's
here.
my working place. Although I'm trying it through Spotify. I don't think we're switching.
No,
Well, so Spotify is the playlist. That's about it. The music is a little better than you can tell here on the phone.
we're trying Spotify instead of Google Play Music as a trial thing, and he was just trying to decide about between the two. Of
Just because Jeff likes to
yes, Jeff likes to try new things, except for some food things.
say I've eaten turtle and alligator. You can't say I won't try this.
That's true. He has eaten turtle and alligator and what was it? Cowboy oysters. Mm. You have a good Labor Day tomorrow too. Do you have to work? It's 4:45 there, so it must be close to your supper time. What time do you eat supper time, Tom Tom? Well, have a great day. Thanks for popping by. Um, and stay tuned, looking for updates on live streams of what I'm going to show. Use up a lot because we have stuff that, like, as I was saying to Jeff, I was like, I have stuff I bought that were on sale. Um, and I don't make cake or make cupcakes hardly anymore because my kids were in high school. I used to have to make them all the time, like at least once or twice a year for bake sales, right? And they haven't had them. So, and we don't do a lot of desserts, but if I made a thing of cupcakes, I could freeze half and eat half because the problem is it's always just we want a little bit, but not a lot. Have that here in Europe. May 1st, we do it. Okay, so does school start on Monday, tomorrow then? Oh no, because you might be. So some places, like my friend who lives in New Zealand, school for them goes from like January to December, and then they have like, um, well, I think from December and January they have off their summer because I mean it's opposite to here of our winter and our summer, but her son when he started school the day he after he turned 5. So it didn't matter if his birthday was September 1st or January 1st when he started 5, and then he did kindergarten or whatever, or first year or whatever they call it. And then the year ended because her son was only in school for like 3 or 4 months versus some kids that if their birthday was near the beginning of the school year. And then when school started again, they were in second year or first grade or whatever it was in New Zealand. And I'm like, that makes like no sense because then you have kids that only have like some kids have had a whole year of school, and then some kids who only had a few weeks. Here in Canada, well, it's even different in Canada depending on the province. In Ontario, you have to be turning 4. So if you turn 4 before December 31st, you start school in September after Labor Day for junior kindergarten. And I think in Quebec and the Maritimes, the cutoff date is September 31st. You have to be 4. So, because there was a friend of one of my daughter's friends that came from the Maritimes, and they were in 1 grade, and then when they came here, they had to do they had to redo a grade, or they skipped a grade. I think no, I think they skipped a grade because of the way their birthday was and the amount like they had finished all like say all of grade 3. but the way that their birthday was and what they were learning was at a different level, so they skipped a grade, and then they just had to do a little bit of catch up, back up. So it was just weird, but it's not even like I think education is provincial and healthcare is provincial, but there's a standard um, for graduation for education and stuff like that. So I guess they figured like because some provinces don't like Quebec doesn't have JK, so theirs they have school that have to be 5, so that's senior kindergarten for just kindergarten. But by law in all of Canada, JK and SK is voluntary, so you only have to really start school when you turn 6 for grade 1. Like grade 1 is the only one that's like has I guess standards or I don't know. School starts for the states of Germany and other European states, so less traffic jam when it starts or ends. Ah, so yeah, here everything starts Labor Day unless you're in the French board, which they started this week. So they always start a week before, like the last week of August, a week before everybody else. Same with Quebec. Quebec always starts a week before because they're French. They're French. But then they also get off mid June, while everybody else finishes school end of June. University and college starts also on Tuesday, and they go till end of April, spread over several weeks. Updated so as no children. Okay, but yeah, so here everything like once school starts, there's like there is huge camps because the buses get like super full of students as well as people going to work. The everything you could tell during the school year, traffic like rush hour starts earlier versus during the summertime when the kids are out of school. There's less traffic. Like there's less people rushing to get to work at a certain time so they can get home at a certain time. There's more fluidity. So, hello, Peter. Do you want to come and say hello? Come here. Come on. Peter's headbutting the table that my computer's on. He's lonely. He said, meow, meow, meow. Come on, come on, come here. Okay, he doesn't want to come up. He just wants to be petted. I can't pet you underneath the table. Like, you're really in a bad position. Here's Peter. He's now your big kitty. Big purr. Yes. Oh, and he likes to be carried. Where are you going? Go. What you doing? Do you hear the purrs? He's just a happy boy. Never had a cat who loves just being held. And usually he likes being held like a baby. If I put him down, the camera's down a little bit. So he just likes being held like a baby. He just purrs away. And he wags. So he's like a dog. So he wags his tail when he's happy, like a dog, and whack, whack, whack. Well, Princess, when she wags her tail, and it's usually when she's angry. But this cat doesn't seem to be angry ever. Who's that? Is that you? She's just like, here, hug a girl. hold ya. There. He's just like, I'm gonna try and hang upside down. He loves being held and get his tummy rubbed. Just like a doggy, doggy, doggy. Yes. And he likes to hang upside down. Look upside down, look. He's a strange kitty. Boom, boom, boom. Paw, paw. Mwah. Oh, yes. But, so I guess that's all I have for right now. I'm hoping to have more videos edited and updated up here, but I'm planning on coming on at least once a day to give you kind of an update of how shelf timber is going, what's what I'm going to take off my shelf to use that day or this coming week, and maybe to get some ideas from you guys of how to use certain ingredients. Um, maybe I'll try and use the community tab to get any comments on. Maybe I'll take a picture of the box of things I'm going to take out to give maybe to see if there's any ideas from you guys. 'Cause I mean, I've got all the staples like flour, sugar, rice, beans, oats, all that stuff all the time. So there's usually most recipes I can usually do. Oh, you're now decided to come down there. But if the an insect that spaces ah, I usually have most of them, or I can easily pick up spice if I run out of spice. But I had just picked up spices to restock my spice shelf. Oh, that's fluff. That fruit. um, for my spice jars uh, before we went on vacation, so that we will have most of our spices filled up. So, but and if you like Jeff's cameo appearance, maybe I can convince him to come on another time, maybe tomorrow. Well, maybe we'll talk about our stressful actual vacation. The first 6 days, anything that could go wrong went wrong, and then we changed hotels, and then after that was more restful. It wasn't completely perfect, but it was much better. So, thanks for watching and hanging by. Comment below of any ideas, what things you would like, well, ideas of what you'd like me to record, and share with you, and maybe even ideas of recipes and stuff to use certain things up. Um, that's it. Bye, friends.